So today we're going to talk about useful Stoic exercises that should kind of do something to you, something good. And yeah, we're going to see whether these are actually pretty amazing or if they are just dumb and shitty and useless quite. But yeah, this is an article about this dailystoic.com site. I don't know if I'm able to link it down in the description, at least of the YouTube video. In terms of the podcast, it should be fine, but I've had certain problems with linking this website. Unfortunately, YouTube being like, wow, this is against our guidelines, even though it is fucking not, because I'm not selling anything, I'm not doing anything. It's just a direct link to the fucking page or the article. But anyway, I'm gonna read. Today I want to describe various Stoic exercises that you can do to develop a Stoic outlook on life. While this is obviously useful for the would-be Stoic, I think that everyone can benefit these exercises from these exercises. If you don't know much about Stoicism, then here would be a good start. Or you can read some of the other essays I've written and you should quickly understand the general idea. This isn't some spiritual mumbo-jumbo. Anyone who knows me is aware that I frown upon the whole idea of quote-unquote spirituality. These exercises have been used by millions of people because they work in real life. Not in some imaginary faraway land, they are practical and they do not require any equipment with the exception of a functioning brain. Which I guess if you're, listening to this and watching this, you're having. All of these exercises have been around for thousands of years, and the reason that they are still applicable today is because they are grounded in common experience and in common space, or sense, Stoic exercise number uno, early morning reflection. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out. You need to reflect early in the morning. Of course, it's actually more nuanced than that. It's not just about planning what you will do that day. It's about how you may react to what you will do and also what others will do. And there is a quote by Seneca. Cling tooth and nail to the following rule. Not to give in to adversity, never to trust prosperity, and always to take full note of Fortune's habit of behaving just as she pleases, treating her as if she were actually going to do everything it is in her power to do. Whatever you have been expecting for some time comes as less of a shock. And I would say this as well. If you're able to imagine things happening and really vividly imagining them, then you're gonna be in a good place when they happen. And it's not going to be a surprise, and you're gonna be able to deal with them quite well, really quite well. But yeah, firstly, be thankful that you have actually woken up. Many people will not have this privilege today. Secondly, plan how you will embrace your virtues and avoid your vices. Pick a particular philosophical precept or a personal strength you want to cultivate and think about how you can incorporate it into the day ahead. Mentally check how you will deal with any difficult situation that may well arise. Thirdly, remind yourself that the only thing you can control are your thoughts and your actions. Everything else is uncontrollable. Extra assignments. The first thing, if you wake up early enough and have time, go out for a walk and enjoy the rising sun while meditating on developing yourself as a human being. And the second extra thing would be perform light exercises using your own body weight, contemplate your own mortality and the fact that you will age. Exercising in the morning is always going to be something amazing, and it is. I'm not doing it. Sometimes I do. It depends on the day. It depends on fasting. It depends on just a tremendous amount of different things. But yeah. Exercise numero due. A view from above. This exercise is designed to remind you about how small you really are and how little importance most things are. And how little importance most things are. Important. Well, in other words, to give you a sense of the bigger picture, it's quite simple. You use your imagination to try and relate yourself to the world, to the whole world and beyond. There are two ways you can approach this. The first one is follow a guided meditation. You can download a free recording by Donald Robertson here and the script here. Do it yourself, which is the second option. This is my preferred method as you doesn't require any equipment. I mean, I gotta have to say that this article is, grammar-wise and stuff. But yeah, you don't need any equipment, and so it can be done anywhere. I recommend going somewhere relaxing, such as a park or the beach, if you're lucky enough to live in a coastal area. Obviously, I can tell you exactly what to imagine because I'm not you, but I would recommend starting above the clouds and then slowly come closer to the world and the people in it. Feel free to start much, much farther away in some distant spot of the universe. Observe everything going on. First, kisses, wars, discoveries, learning, artistic creations, traffic jams, and anything else you can imagine. Observe, but do not judge. Now, think of yourself in relation to all of this. Know that many of these things you hold to be importantly are only relatively important. Know that you are only relatively important. I mean, everything indeed is in relation. I mean, I don't know, like, as I've realized, and this is definitely just playing into the whole idea of that, as I've realized, everything depends on your mind. If your mind is weak, your life is not going to be good. Because the thing is that the things can be important and things can be not that important, but it depends on how you think about them. And you can also live a life full of purpose, but you also cannot, which is just solely based on your thoughts. Whether you think that whatever you're doing is purposefully, but if you think that it is not of any purpose, like there's no reason why you should be doing it, there's no sensical reason why it makes sense to do that, then of course you're also not going to feel that good. So as I've realized very, very recently, kind of unfortunately maybe, the mind is crucial to the whole experience called life. Extra assignments. The first one, try freezing time as you do this exercise. Imagine yourself walking through cities and everything is perfectly still. Observe that very moment. The second is, attempt this exercise but in a different era. This can really ham home the fact that you once didn't exist and eventually you will also not exist. But you can be remembered. And I deeply think that we should be remembered. And working on a life that is being remembered makes sense. This could be one's purpose. Like, I want to be remembered. Of course, it also makes sense to be remembered as a good person, or at least something of a decent person. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be remembered as a bad person. I don't want to be remembered as a person that did wrong things or did wrong to people. So yeah, just a side note here. Stoic exercise number 3. How many are there actually? 6, 7, 8, 10, and yeah, 10 exercises. Wasn't it the title of it? Anyway, I think that I'm having to split it up maybe, but I am not quite sure. Anyway, Stoic exercise number 3. Contemplation of the ideal man or woman. This exercise is designed to provide a catalyst for change towards becoming an ideal human being. Of course, this is a never-ending quest. Think about the qualities which make up the ideal person. For simplicity's sake, let's assume that the Greek and Roman stages represent the physical idea and focus on the psychological aspects. Let's assume that the Greek and Roman stages represent the physical idea and focus on the psychological aspects instead. What qualities make up the ideal character? In some respect, this is quite a difficult question to answer, and perhaps it is easier to focus on what would an ideal person do in any given situation. From the actions of this person, we can then try and determine their inner qualities and hopefully begin to emulate them. This is not a sentence, but I think, yeah, it's irrelevant anyway. Just remember that the ideal person does not exist, which I think is a very important side note there, because, if you're trying to be perfect and just, perfectionism per se is, well, a dumb idea quite, because nothing is perfect and nothing will ever be perfect. On the other hand, it is like, The thing is, having this goal of being somewhat perfect, I think, is an amazing goal. I mean, we all have certain things to work on, and we all have certain things that we should be working on. I certainly have. I mean, I don't know. Just also, when it comes to my physical appearance, like there is something that I can do, and there is something that I'm doing, and there is something that I will be doing, and I don't know, like this idea of developing, of becoming a better person, is an amazing idea. Just imagining that, it's an amazing thought. Because I certainly believe that not a lot of people are just consciously thinking about that. I mean, of course, I do think that we all want to progress. We all want to develop ourselves, but I think definitely some people are just, thinking more about it, and some other people are thinking less about it. But I don't know. Like there's many areas in which we all can develop ourselves. And there are some things that we all should be doing, but we are not doing. And there are some things that we should be figuring out, but we are not working on that. And, yeah, breathing in fluid is amazing. Anyway, extra assignments. Create a list of actual role models, past or present, and analyze what makes them ideal. Find the best qualities of these individual and discard any negative character flaws. The second thing is, you can also do the opposite of contemplating the ideal man. Contemplate the worst type of human being imaginable and strive to avoid being like that. I do think that the second option is even better than the first one. Like trying to not be a person, I think, well, is it easier? Maybe not really. Is it? Well, it's difficult. It really is. But I think that it makes more sense. I think that it is a better option, to just not be a bad person, or like, the person you think is bad, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But yeah, I'm gonna end the episode there, and the next few things are gonna be prepared by me in the next episode. And so I wish you the best. Please stay safe and healthy. Keep distance from other people. Wear your fucking mask. And don't be a moron. And yeah, with that being said, hope we're gonna see you the next time. Bye. Thank you very much, by the way, for listening and or watching. I deeply appreciate that. I deeply appreciate all of you. That being said, bye.